Daniel, welcome to the Hidden Why podcast. Great to have you here.
It is a pleasure to be here. I love the title, The Hidden Why. And I promise you that what I'm about to share with your audience really is hidden. Unfortunately, it's hidden. It was a discovery that my team made, but it is hidden because the experts missed it. And it's going to explain to your audience why certain symptoms like anxiety, procrastination, people pleasing, perfectionism, and low confidence, why, even though they've been working on it for years, it's not gone. And then specifically what they can do to address the root cause so that they're free of these symptoms. I'm going to show them the hidden why to emotional freedom. How's that sound?
That sounds good. That sounds good. So emotional freedom, and you're right. Like when I think about it, whether it's anxiety or perfectionism or self-confidence, whatever it might be, we go out there and we jump into programs and see therapists, and yet we still find ourselves back to square one after a while. Sometimes it's like I've done some hypnosis stuff in the past, and it worked for a while, but then I found myself back to the same spot I was in. And in life, I've actually experienced that a lot. So I have jumped on because I know you've got this 90-minute sort of program, I guess, introductory sort of program to what your work is about. And I have jumped onto that, and it makes sense. Again, I think you need to really, in no means of offense, but I was sort of listening to it, and I didn't really give it my full attention and experience. So I think that's really important for people to do in any of these practices. Even in meditation, you can't do meditation whilst you're trying to, write a book or do some work. Doesn't make
I
sense,
appreciate you
right? So
saying that.
you've
Yeah.
got to
And
you've
I
got to give it your
understand.
undivided attention.
Yeah. And just so your audience knows what you're talking about, we sent you um, we offer we're so proud of what we do, but people are very skeptical, and our company's about results and people really feeling the value of what we do. So I shared with you this 90-minute training that not only has a deep dive of what I'm going to be sharing with your audience now, but also there's one of the innovative techniques that we developed that quickly and noticeably lowers your fear, doubt, and anxiety at the root cause. You didn't get to the end, which is what you were
Yeah,
saying, but
yeah.
I just want to let your audience know at the end, I'm going to send your audience to my website, danielpackard.com, where they can download that free training called From Stuck to Unstoppable so that they can really feel this for themselves and have a real experience to show them what I'm about to share with your audience right now.
Okay.
And what I'm going to share with your audience right now, just to put it in context, is part of the reason you and many successful people work on themselves for a really long time, but it never quite goes away. And that's because what I call the $1 trillion improvement industrial complex. It's $1 trillion with a T each year: therapy, psychology, spirituality. And if you notice, it doesn't get fast, permanent results. It's usually management, usually insights and awareness, and usually some tools to manage, but it's not gone quickly. And the reason for that, once we did our research, was most of what's available is an approach that's either spiritual or psychological. And that's fine if you want insights and you want awareness and you want tips and tools to
Right.
manage.
Yeah.
But if you want a fast, quick, reliable solution, which is what we offer, or it's better to have an approach that is mechanical. And what I mean by that is, let's say, God forbid, you, Leigh, and your audience, I don't know, they're out having a meal and all of a sudden they start choking. And two people walk up to you when you're choking. And one person approaches you with psychology and spirituality and says, "Hey, look, I notice you're having trouble. I think you have a real scarcity mindset around breathing. I think you're really focusing on your lack of air instead of the abundance of air that's out there. And I think you're not believing in yourself, that you can truly breathe if you want to. And if you could just let go of your ego and be open to your greatness, you'd be fine."
Yeah.
And then another person walks up to you and says, "Hey, okay, but really, this is just a mechanical issue. You have a windpipe, it is mechanically blocked with a bit of Vegemite, and we are going to apply pressure to your stomach, which puts mechanical air pressure behind. It's going to pop it out. And within about 10 seconds from now, you're going to breathe and live." In that case, when you're struggling, do you want a solution that's spiritual, psychological, or more mechanical?
Mechanically, yeah.
Why? Why is
Because
that
it'll
better?
fix the problem.
Yeah, reliably. Because this
I guess
mechanical means
people,
this is connected to
when you're
this.
talking about psychological problems related to fear, anxiety, whatever it might be, this is where the skepticism might come in, right? Because they're going, well, nothing's worked before. There's no quick solution. and you probably get this all the time. So how can then you provide a quick solution to something that's haunted me for 30 years or whatever it might be?
I'm with you. So your audience should be skeptical. One, I'm going to explain the two key discoveries that make it possible to get a fast, permanent solution. And once they hear this, it's going to make a lot more sense why this is possible. But also, that's why I want them to download the free training so that they can feel this for themselves.
Yeah.
Also, just for the record, there's 1 million coaches and therapists in the world.
Yeah.
We're the only personal development company that does not charge you at the beginning. We only charge you at the end once you have clear, measurable results that your symptom, anxiety, procrastination, people-pleasing, perfectionism, and or low confidence is basically significantly down or gone. So people should be skeptical, but the fact that we measure results as you go through the program and we back up our results, what does that tell you about the possible efficacy of what we're doing?
Yeah, well, it's promising.
Yeah, you're darn right. It is.
I've got a question about that. So when you say that, like, it's obviously if you solve the problem, then you pay. How do you measure that? Like, how does someone say, oh, it's solved or not solved, or you just go on good faith?
Well, just to be clear, kind of where the program came from and where the solution, because when you understand my story and the story of my company, it'll make more sense where this came from. Yeah, because if you don't know my story and the story of my company, you're going to be like, come on. There's all these coaches and therapists and they overpromise and underdeliver. So our passion is results, permanent results, measurable results. And the reason I care so much about results is because growing up, my dad was a physicist and he sat me down and he said, look, anybody can have a theory or an idea, but you don't know if that theory or idea is right. You don't know if that person knows what they're talking about. He said, it's the person that gets results. That's the person you trust. And that's the person you should listen to. The person he said, results matter. And that idea of results mattering really stuck with me. And my dad was kind enough to let me use his workshop. And I basically, as a young kid, was an inventor. I would go to his workshop and I would come up with things and invent things like MacGyver and Ferris Bueller and build prototypes and then test things until they get consistent results. And I had a talent for this. I was basically an inventor. So then I go to engineering school to be properly trained, how to look at a complex problem, break it down into mechanical pieces, then you build a prototype. Then you test it. And it never works in the beginning. So then what do? You refine, you calibrate, you iterate until you have something that gets results consistently. That's what inventors do. That's what engineers do. The good news was I knew how to make machines work, but they didn't teach me in quantum theory how to make life work. And so I could make a robot that played ping pong, but I had crippling anxiety, procrastination, people pleasing, perfectionism, low confidence, overthinking, caring what people thought of me. And, like your audience, I go looking for help from therapists, coaches, retreat apps, I did all of it. I licked a frog, for God's sakes, Leigh. And after 10 years and $100,000, I kind of measured my results and I had this sad realization of, oh my gosh, I spent $100,000, 10 years. I have some awareness. I have some tips and tools to but it's not gone. And I'm not being the person I want to be. I'm not living the life I want to be. I'm not fulfilling my purpose. I'm not as happy. My relationships were affected. And I just was pissed. I really was. And I kind of looked up to the sky one day, mad. And whoever's up there listening, I just said, what do you want from me? What do you want from me? I know this is a test, but I've been at this 10 years. What's the test? And I was just being rhetorically pissed off. I didn't expect an answer, but I kind of got this response, which was what my dad told me, which is results matter. And I just had this realization that all this money I spent didn't get great results. It didn't solve it quickly. And so I said, well, I'm an engineer. I know how to innovate. I know how to make things to get results. So I started my own research company, Full Liberation Technology, with the mandate, could we use engineering? Could we reverse engineer a system such that all the tools were included, the instructions, and if you work the steps, it addresses the root cause such as that you get great results, which is the symptom goes away and not come back. So the reason we found a fast, permanent solution is we wanted to. The coaches, the therapists, the spiritual teachers, they're regurgitating old information. And they mean well, but they're not innovating. And we innovated, and specifically, we wanted to solve it, not just teach and give people awareness. And I'm going to tell your audience what we discovered that makes this possible. But does it make more sense if you get a group of engineers that are trained, elite level, innovative problem solvers? We've got a better shot to solve this quickly than maybe a therapist or a psychologist who's regurgitating old information.
Yeah. Yeah, well, that makes sense.
Yeah. So I want to explain to you why this is possible. And the reason it's possible and what we're so proud of is the results, but also what we discovered is dead simple. And it's simple because it's based in, again, the mechanics of human beings. And I'll explain more what that means. But I believe, and maybe you've noticed this, if somebody really understands something inside and out, they can make it simple. You know, yeah. Newton looked at all of motion on the planet. Instead of saying, oh my God, there's all these things, 3 laws. 3 laws explains almost you with Newton's laws and one equation, you can put a man on the moon. He understood things simply. Einstein takes this highly complex thing equals MC squared. When you really know something, you can make it simple. So let me explain to you the first sort of inner mechanics lesson that's going to explain why this is simple. Does that sound good?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. So we approached this and we looked at the personal development, spirituality, psychology industry, and we said, this is complicated. There's all these different theories. Where's it coming from? Is it your mindset? Is it your past? Is it your neurons? Is it your synaptic pathways? Is it your childhood? Is it society? Is it your hormones? Do I do an ice bucket challenge? Do I walk on fire? Do I lick a frog? Do I do it's confusing. And we said, I think let's try to find a simple. And what we saw was, and this is the first thing I want your audience to know, and what the research showed is we are taught, and it feels like we have multiple problems. So what does that mean? Well, it feels like I have anxiety, or I have perfectionism, or I have people pleasing, or I am a perfectionist, or I have low confidence and low self-esteem. But in reality, you do not have multiple problems. What you have is multiple symptoms of one thing, which is fear. So what that means is you could say, oh, I have anxiety, or you could say I have a lot of fear, and I call that high level of fear anxiety. You could say I'm a procrastinator, or you could say I have a fear of starting and finishing things. Mm-hmm. You could say you're a perfectionist, or you could say I have a fear of making a mistake, so I need things to be perfect. You could say you're a people pleaser, or you could say you have a fear that people won't like you, so you put everybody else first and yourself last. And you could say I have low confidence, or you could say you have this fear of being your natural, true, authentic self. So can you see that sort of we can simplify this problem by realizing that your audience and you doesn't have multiple problems, but maybe multiple symptoms of one thing, which is fear. Does that make sense?
Yeah. But that'd be existing in all of us, right?
Say that again?
That'd exist in all of us at some level, the level of fear.
Yeah. Now, it's not a huge breakthrough that people have fear, but it's important to understand, because if you realize that fear is the root cause, then you can realize that all these experts have been sending you to the simple level. The procrastination, that's a symptom. The low confidence is a symptom. So you can't ever solve a symptom. That's why your audience still has these patterns decades later, because the experts sent you to the symptom level versus the root cause, which is the fear. So lesson number one, so your audience isn't broken.
They're addressing the symptoms.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
And even when it comes to fear, your audience probably already has learned about, that they have some fear and some worry and some doubt. And there's personal development and therapy that tries to work on that fear. But again, it's symptom-based. What I mean by that is a common pattern or a common thing that we are sold. I took a $10,000 retreat on overcoming my fear. So what that means is you've got fear. I had fear, and they were going to teach me how to overcome it. Now, that's
I
great.
often hear that fear is a good feeling, because when you get fear, it means either you need to avoid something or you need to move towards something, and sometimes it just depends on the situation, right? But going on stage and speaking in front of people, you might have this fear of speaking on stage.
Well, when I talk about fear, I'm talking about limiting fear. I'm talking about limiting fear that gets in the way of you being the person you want to be, and the fear that's at the root cause of a lot of these patterns. That's the fear that we're getting at. Mm-hmm. And what we saw was, if you try to overcome the fear, that works short term. You can push through and white knuckle it. But guess what? The fear's not gone. It's waiting for you an hour later, a day later, and it's going to keep slowing you down. So as engineers, we said that's not efficient to overcome the fear, face the fear, push through the fear. That's great short term. But what if we just found out what's causing the fear and we heal it at the root cause? That's what we did. I had anxiety, fear, doubt, insecurity. And when we were developing my model, I was using the tools too. And I just don't have the fear anymore. I don't have the anxiety. I don't have it's just gone, because we addressed the root cause. Now I'll tell you how we did that.
So therefore you don't have the symptoms of fear.
100%. I'm free of it.
What do you mean
And
when you say limiting fear?
well, it's a good question. So life will challenge you. And if there are unknowns, if there are things that are scary or stressful, a healthy person, I'll just say in my case, I can feel a fear at about 2 out of 10 or 3 out of 10 for about 2 or 3 minutes. I can feel the challenge of life. When someone's struggling or there's unknown or a loud noise, your body can feel things. However, it's the limiting fear, 3 out of 10, 4 out of 10, 7 out of 10, 8 out of 10, that's unconscious and gets in the way of you being the person you want to do and lasts for hours, if not days. And it forces you into your comfort zone and creates these patterns. That's the limiting fear that we address.
Right.
And we found the source of the limiting fear. And again, the reason we're able to get these incredible results is not witchcraft. It's not a Harry Potter wand. It's that we actually went to the right location. So what does that mean? Most people, when it comes to fear or doubt or worry, we are taught by the improvement industrial complex that it's a problem of the mind. You know, we're told, stop your scarcity thinking, change your mindset. It's got the word mind, get new neural pathways, cognitive behavioral therapy, cognition in the mind. It's called mental health. It's got the word mental right in there. So you were told fear is a problem of the mind. Now it sounds good. The mind can definitely say some scary stuff that isn't helping. But as engineers, we said, well, wait a minute. If this is true, then where's the results? And the fact is anxiety's on the rise, insecurity's on the rise, all sorts of symptoms and addiction is all on the rise. So we said, if this is really the root cause, well, this is bad results. And my dad said results matter. So because we didn't inherit all this legacy thinking, we just said, well, maybe it's not the mind. And we discovered that the root cause of fear, doubt, and worry is not the mind. Right. The negative, scary mind is actually a symptom of where fear originates, which is not the mind, but the body.
Yeah.
If you say you're anxious, you don't say, I think anxious. You say, I feel anxious. When you feel fear, you don't say, I think fear. I feel fear. Where do you feel it? Chest, heart, throat, stomach. That's the body, not the mind.
Yeah.
And this is the way that we're wired. We're wired where the body feels things first, and then the mind is a tool to react to the body. You have hunger in your body first, then the mind senses the hunger and then tries to find food. So for reasons which I'll explain to your audience, your body is feeling all this fear for a hidden reason, which I'll explain to you. And then your mind senses all this fear, thinks there's a problem, and then starts saying all sorts of negative things.
Right, great story.
The research showed fear originates in the body and then spreads to the mind. And the reason this matters is because your audience was sent to the mind, which is literally the wrong location. And that's why you can't quiet your mind. It's why the negative thoughts keep coming no matter what, because it's a symptom. So by going to the actual root cause location, this is why we have a 90% success rate. This is why we can back up our results, not because we're better. We just went to the right location of the problem. Does that make sense?
Right. Yeah, absolutely. Yep.
Any questions or thoughts on what I'm sharing?
Well, I'm curious to go into the body and the fear there and then how we address that.
I'll explain that to you because it's important. And trust me, it is so simple. Most people go, I cannot believe the experts missed it. And I'm going to tell you what it is, but I want to be clear. This is the perceptual understanding that allows us to get these incredible results and why we back up our results. But again, at the end, go to danielpackard.com and download this free training. It's 90 minutes and you will feel and have a real experience of what I'm sharing with you so that you can trust this and see for yourself. But what we discovered is by going to the body, it makes everything so much simpler because the mind is complicated. We don't understand the mind really that much. There's billion synaptic pathways and neurons. They're still just figuring out the mind. But the body is sort of simple in that it's mechanical. The skeleton is mechanical. The heart is mechanical. Lungs are mechanical. Your tongue, it's all mechanics. A lot of it, and it's systems. There's all these systems, the skeletal system, the dental, it's all systems. An engineer loves systems because systems can malfunction and systems can be repaired. So as engineers, we sort of, well, hold on, if we can just find the system making everybody afraid, maybe we can repair it and the fear goes away and the symptoms of anxiety, procrastination, just goes with it. So do you want me to tell you the system creating all the fear?
I do. Absolutely.
Good. Again, it ain't complicated. It is what, Leigh?
Simple.
Okay. So let's take out the word fear. Let's take out the word doubt. Let's take out the word anxiety. And let's just use the word nervous. Let's just say your average human is experiencing different severities and levels of nervousness that then gives rise to other symptoms like procrastination, people pleasing, all that stuff.
Yep.
Okay. What do you think is the most obvious, logical answer to this question? What system in the body, I'm asking you, Leigh, and your audience, what system in the body do you think is most likely responsible for malfunctioning and making everybody nervous? Do you think it's A, the skeletal system, B, the adrenal system, or C, wait for it, the nervous
system?
Yeah. And why did you answer before I even said it? Why, Leigh?
Because you were talking about nerves and nervousness, and that's creating the fear. So it makes sense.
Yeah. The thing that's probably making everybody nervous is the system that literally has the word nervous right in the name.
Mm-hmm.
It should have been a clue. We have basically, I'll explain to your audience how, but addressed fear in the nervous system because we saw it had the word nervous right in there. Meanwhile, mental health experts, psychologists, mindset coaches, for 100 years, they've been working on this, getting suspect results. Meanwhile, there's a system in the body literally called the nervous system, and the experts said, no, it's a problem of the mind. No, it's not. Yeah. Results matter. We're getting much better results because we went to the system called the nervous system. Now, your nervous system is your body's natural threat response system. If you have a healthy nervous system, it doesn't feel like there's a threat, and you feel a very important word that humans need to feel to perform at a high level, and that word is safe. If you feel safe, you don't have fear and anxiety and doubt and all these other symptoms.
Right.
But for reasons which I'll explain, our nervous system is malfunctioning, not because of your past, not because of the election, not because of money, not because of your in-laws. It's something we're doing to our nervous system every day that we don't even know we're doing. And our nervous system is basically malfunctioning, and it feels like there's a threat when there isn't. And then you feel this nervousness, and then the nervousness gives rise to the anxiety, the perfectionism, the people pleasing, and the low confidence. But can you sort of see mechanically that maybe we don't have all these fancy, complicated problems? Maybe there's just a system in the body called the nervous system that is malfunctioning. It feels like there's a threat when there isn't, which gives rise to fear and all these symptoms. Does that sort of track and make sense?
And the nervous system is designed to help keep us safe, right? For a survival mechanism.
When it's healthy, 100%.
Okay.
But if a lot of systems in the body, say that again?
Why is it not healthy? Like, why is our nervous system shot?
Well, that's the key discovery. We wanted to figure out, why is the nervous system malfunctioning, with an understanding that made this solvable.
Yeah.
Sometimes people will say, well, it's my past. I've been nervous since I was a kid because my dad was critical, or, well, it's the outside world, or no. We need to find an understanding that makes this solvable. So here is why the nervous system is malfunctioning. And again, this is not complicated. This is simple. Every system in the body is miraculous. But there's a unifying principle in most systems in the body. And that is that most systems in the body need basic daily maintenance to keep it healthy. Right. You need to drink enough water, brush and floss, get enough sleep, eat healthy, exercise. And if you do basic hygiene of the systems in your body, the systems run properly.
Yeah.
Make sense?
Yep.
But the thing is, we're taught to take care of our teeth. We know to take care of our sleep. We know to drink enough water. We know how to take care of our diet.
Mm-hmm.
So because we know how to take care of it, the system runs well. But let me ask you, Leigh, and your audience, were you ever taught what is the basic daily hygiene of your nervous system and the basic things you need to do every day to keep it healthy? Were you ever taught that? No. So if we were not taught basic maintenance on a system, we can't take care of it. Yeah. And over time, the system will eventually start to malfunction. Make sense?
Yep, absolutely.
So that's the big mystery of where's the fear coming from? It's a system that we were never taught to take care of. And so now the nervous system basically is fragile, and it makes it feel like there's a threat when there's not, and it's cranking out the nervousness. And when people download this free training, I'm also going to send them the 28 ways that we're supposed to take care of our nervous system every day. And it's hugely illuminating to people because when they see, oh my gosh, I haven't been doing this. No wonder my nervous system is freaking out and I have all this fear. So Here's why this is important information. Remember I said I'm going to explain to you the hidden why of why we have these patterns and they don't go away quickly?
Yep.
The research showed, and our entire model is based on the fact that what's causing the problems is we were never taught to take care of our nervous system. We just weren't given the information. And so we can't do the little acts of health to take care of it. So if you don't take care of something and you do unhealthy things every day, eventually that's going to lead to problems. Okay. If you don't eat correctly, makes sense. Eventually you're going to gain weight. If you don't brush and floss, eventually you're going to need a root canal. So the actual problem is little acts of unhealth to our nervous system accumulating. Now, the downside is if you don't learn how to bring your nervous system back to health, which we teach you, you're going to create having these nervousness and this feeling of a threat inside you all the time. You won't feel safe, and it's going to limit your potential joy, happiness, and confidence. But this is the big important thing. If what people are experiencing are symptoms of little acts of unhealth that have been accumulating, why is that understanding good news if we want a simple, fast solution?
Say again. So why?
Yeah. So if what we're experiencing, the problem is just little acts of unhealth that have been accumulating over time, why is that good news if we want to turn this whole thing around quickly?
Because we can reverse it. If it's been accumulating by doing the acts of unhealth, then we can do the acts of health on our nervous system to...
Exactly. Right. To turn this around, we don't need to change our mindset. We don't need to be transformed. We don't need to be empowered. All these fancy words. If you just go from little acts of unhealth to little acts of health, the body heals. If you don't take care of your diet, over time, you're going to gain weight. That weight gain is real. It's mechanical. It's a buildup. That's not false fat appearing real. That's not a fatty mindset. That's not because your dad didn't allow you to eat candy in Halloween. It's an actual mechanical result of poor dietary health. But if you want to lose weight, it's not complicated. You don't have to vision board. You don't have to overcome the fat. You just do little acts of health. And there's a mechanism that burns the fat and the fat goes away. That's why this is such a breakthrough. So in the 6-week program that we teach people in, you have all the tools needed in one place. That's key. That brings the nervous system back to health. You also have very easy to follow instructions. You do 20-minute exercises each day, basically 5-minute exercises 4 times a day. Very easy to follow, very easy to go from unhealth to health. Your nervous system comes back to health. And then what that leaves you with, what I have, what our clients have, is after 6 weeks, you get to feel a permanent feeling, which unlocks your true potential. And that feeling, when you have a healthy nervous system, is to feel safe.
Yeah, gotcha.
Imagine, how would your life be better, more effective, happier, more confident if you, and I'm asking you, Leigh, and your audience, if you just woke up every morning and your default feeling was just a feeling of solid safety? How would your life be better or different?
Be tenfold better, right?
Yeah. Why?
It'd be cool because you wouldn't have anxiety, you wouldn't have stress. You have to keep these good health acts towards the nervous system going, right? Like you can't just do it for 6 weeks and then it's like, you can't just eat healthy and then go, okay, well, I've lost weight and now I can eat shit again.
Well, that's true. So when people go through our full 6-week program, in the 6 weeks, through repetition, you're bringing the system back to health, and then you've built a daily habit to maintain it with about 2 to 3 minutes a day. Just like with your teeth. If you neglect your teeth and you need a root canal, you go to the dentist, they repair your teeth, but then, you got to brush and floss moving forward.
Yeah.
But the point is, the results are permanent. I've had no anxiety, none of these symptoms for 8 years, and our clients I had a client, an entrepreneur, and a father who had procrastination and anxiety. He spent, I think it was $250,000, at least 20 years. And he just said, Daniel, you can't get rid of this stuff quickly. I've been this way since high school. But he had met somebody at a conference who went through our program and said, look, this guy's an engineer. You only pay at the end when you get results. And this guy said, that's impossible. Nothing works that well. So he went through the same 90-minute training that I want your audience to download at danielpackard.com.
Yep.
And he said, oh my God, this isn't the mind. this is the body. And he felt calmer just from that 90-minute training. And it gave him hope. And his procrastination, because we measure it, he went from being able to work about an hour a day up to 5 hours a day. His focus went from about 8 minutes at a time up to 90 minutes at a time. And he just felt much calmer and happier. He was a better father. He made more sales. His business flourished. But also he just felt better, because when you feel safe, it just allows you to perform and live the way you were meant to live.
Yeah, gotcha. Would you mind sharing a couple of these points of what we can do to keep a healthy nervous system? I know it's in your training.
Well, and here's why. What you're asking for, which is what a lot of people ask for, is like, can we have a tip? Give me a tip. However, that is great for management. People already know about meditation. On some level, meditation temporarily quiets your nervous system, but it's temporary. When a system malfunctions, a tip or one thing won't bring it back. If you've neglected your diet and you're having a heart attack, you can't say, hey, can you teach me a tip to help with my heart? No, it's too late for that.
But if you're unhealthy, someone might say, well, what's some things that I could do to bring back good health? Well, okay. Exercise is a really good thing. Just walk for 20 minutes a day.
Right. That's to maintain. But if you're having a heart attack and your system is shutting down, taking a jog won't get it done. If you have a root canal and you're like, oh, I'll eat less sugar, that's great for maintenance, but it won't repair the broken tooth. What we discovered is you really need to repair the full system and bring it back to health. And that's not one thing. It's a whole suite of things, which is what's in the program. But what I can tell you is in the 90-minute training, there is a technique that we teach you, which you'll apply to your nervous system, and you will definitely feel calmer. Now, it's not a full solution, but you will definitely feel your system calming down. And that's kind of our proof of concept to show you that what we're telling people isn't just theory. It's real, it's measurable, and you can feel it working in your body.
Yeah, nice. So they can go on to danielpackard.com. I can see it straight away when you jump onto the website. I'm just looking it up here. And you've got the, it's all there. So you can jump on there and that's where you'd first go, to the 90-minute.
Yeah. Look, yes, we have a 6-week program, but we really want people to get a lot of valuable information. So in the 90-minute training, which is free, you're going to learn a ton about yourself, where the fear is coming from, and really see it for yourself. And then use this technique. It's profound. It's all the information I wish I'd known before I spent $100,000. And it's the information I want people to know, to give people hope, and that you don't have to live with these symptoms forever. And to get that, you go to danielpackard.com and you'll see a very clear link, and you can book a free 20-minute coaching call with me. At that point, I'm going to send you this list of the 28 ways that we should take care of our nervous system, but don't. I'm going to send you this 90-minute training from Stuck to Unstoppable that I keep talking about. You're going to then look at that list. You're going to go through this training. You're going to have these epiphanies. You're going to use this technique to feel much calmer, and you'll feel your symptoms starting to dissipate. And then after you've listened to that training, you're going to have the free coaching call with me that you booked. And then I'm going to listen to your experience with the training, listen to your specific situation, and give you refinements on how to apply what you learned in the training to get even more results faster. And you can get all of that, again, just at danielpackard.com.
Okay, that's a 6-week course.
No, that's the 90-minute free training that teaches you a ton and teaches you one of our techniques so you can really feel this for yourself. It'll help with your skepticism. It'll give you hope, and it'll show you that it's really possible, that you don't have to live like this. Then if you're interested, if you like it, when we talk, we can look at the full 6-week program. That's what solves this once and for all. There's a charge for that, obviously, but we first want to just share with people this really, really valuable information for free, because it's the information that is not taught that gives you a fast track and a deep understanding of where this is coming from, so that you don't think you're broken, so that you don't think you have to live like this. So again, this is who it's for. If you have anxiety, procrastination, people-pleasing, perfectionism, low confidence, any pattern or behavior you've had for a while that keeps you from being the best, happiest, most productive, successful you. You've spent a bunch of money on things that it hasn't solved it. And you're like, man, I would love to be free of this quickly and know how to be free of this quickly. Get that free training so that you can understand how to do this and you can feel that it's possible and learn one of our techniques and try it for yourself so that you get a result. We're all about results. We want to prove results to people because when you're in pain and you're struggling, you want results. My dad told me results matter, and we want to give people results.
Sounds like a no-brainer. If you can jump on there and get that, try before you buy, basically. Have the experience.
And even if you don't buy the full program, I had a gentleman, he was an entrepreneur. His name was Donald from Vancouver, and he had anxiety, perfectionism, and low confidence, and this fear of public speaking. And it just, anyway, he was skeptical. He listened to this 90-minute training, and he said to me, Daniel, at the end of it, he just said, I haven't felt that level of calm and peace in decades.
Mm-hmm.
And he said, I can really see I'm not broken. There's nothing wrong. I don't have to live like this forever. And it gave him real profound insights into himself. He was kinder to himself. But most importantly, it gave him something that we all need, which is hope. He saw very clearly, I don't have to live with these symptoms anymore. And to him, that was a huge win.
Yeah.
So you don't have to do the 6-week program. I really want people just to give people a free, profound insight and learn one of our techniques, because I'm tired of this industry that charges people lots of money, doesn't get results. We care about results. We care about giving people results. And so, yeah, I'm passionate about this because I when you're in pain, man, results matter. And I want to give people results they can feel and trust.
Nice, man. Well, thanks for sharing. Well explained, by the way. Again, the links will be in the show notes for danielpackard.com. Any other areas people can reach out to you, Daniel, or just through the website there? It's probably the best point of call.
I'll be blunt. What we've spent 8 years developing and $1 million in R&D is this system. And we're giving you a free sample. Don't follow me on social media. Don't follow me. Take action and go to the website and get this free training to see what's possible. So take action. Do not follow me. Take action. And that's what I would recommend. Nice.
Lovely said. Really nice to connect with you, mate. I'm glad we could make it happen. I know you've had some personal things going on. So, do respect that. And, full of energy today. So it shows. Guys, check it all out at thehiddenwhy.com. And until next time, peace, passion, and purpose. We'll see you soon.